This is the Sports Porch, Philadelphia, with your hosts, the Grand Schwabini, Rube, and me, your technical director. Come on, Philly, show us a little Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now.
Well, here we are.
Look, the
Here we
technical
are.
director is actually still here.
The
Amazing.
technical director surfaced again,
Yes.
and we'll let him join us today. That's
Thank you
sort of
so
a
much.
one-time, sort of a throwback to the old days.
I didn't realize I was going to be relegated to a throwback, but
Well,
that's all right with me.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us here on X at Philly Porch, or on YouTube at Philadelphia Sports Porch. Obviously, after this, we're going to drop the podcast. You can listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere. Well, hey, Eagles look really bad.
Yeah.
Looks like we might be headed back to 2023.
I know that's a big concern of yours.
Collapse number 2 looks like it's well on the way. Look, this team, offensively anyway, just looks broken.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, look, we've watched the Bears now 2 weeks in a row.
Yes, we have.
Because we watched the Bears play Pittsburgh last week, and I got to tell you, I wasn't really even that impressed with the Bears last week, and the Bears look better this week. I
Well,
mean,
they have a rushing game, that's for sure.
they do have a rushing game. But yeah, I mean, the offense just looks so broken. And the shame of it is that the Eagles certainly had their chance to win this game. I mean, when until Jalen Hurts fumbles the ball on the tush push, it looks
Right.
like they're going in and they're gonna take the lead. That happens. The Bears, run right down their throat. The rest, from where that spot was, I don't know, it could have been like 90 yards or something. And from that point forward, they're just playing catch up, and we can't really get the run going, with the exception of maybe, one 16-yard run to Barkley in the second half.
Right.
I mean, look, AJ Brown played well. He looks pretty uncoverable, but there's just so many mistakes. The Eagles are committing penalties. Even Jalen Hurts can look bad at times. Like, he missed a throw to Devontae Smith in the first half that probably, if he completes it, it's either a touchdown or down to the 5-yard line. They're just, Jake Elliott misses an extra point. Just, you're about ready to tie the game up, and then he just sort of takes the air out of everything. Kind of in my mind, sort of stupid plays. Like, I don't know why you go for 2 there at the end. Let's just make it an 8-point game, and then at least put pressure on the Bears to have to get a first down.
Right.
They're playing that last drive like there's no pressure because they're up 2 scores. They just, I mean, just so many things, I think, just poorly done. I talked about the lack of imagination of the play calling, especially in the first half. It's just a run up the middle, or a run to the left, or a run to the right, or a pass, 5 yards
Yeah.
up the middle. I mean, and you see everything that Ben Johnson is doing with the Bears. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, some receiver's going to run by, take a jet sweep. They're using the whole team. It's just, I think we've sort of gotten to the point now where, look, I just look at this team, and you can pretty much say, now look, the offensive line is banged up, but they're not banged up enough that they're not playing. I mean, so, like, if Dickerson and Juergens are so banged up that they shouldn't be playing, well, then don't play them. But if they're in there, we still gotta assume that they're going to perform, and I don't believe they are, and I do believe it's because they're playing hurt. Now, is them playing hurt better than our backups? Maybe it is. Maybe that's why they're doing it. But I mean, it just look. It's really as simple as this. 4 years ago when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, they had Shane Steichen, great offensive coordinator. Now he's the
Right.
coach of the Colts and leading Danny Dimes and crew to maybe a postseason berth. Then they had Brian Johnson, promoted from within, never done it in the NFL. He failed, and that's when we had our collapse. Then you have 2023. You get a real offensive coordinator in here now. The head coach of the Saints. Drawing a blank on his name. Who is that again?
You've just been rambling about this loss.
I've been rambling.
First 6 minutes of this.
Okay, why don't I
podcast? There's
right.
there's a lot to unpack. I think is the point
they're just I mean, look, I'll tell you what. I think it's entirely possible that they miss the playoffs. I think
okay.
I do. I think I'll tell you what. The Cowboys are only 2 games behind.
Right.
And the Eagles are going on the road to the LA Chargers this week. They lose one more game and the Cowboys win. It's like they're up 1 with like 4 to play. I mean, they're not going to make. I think they might not even make the playoffs.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a panicked Grand Schwabini. Yeah, Schwaber, this is why maybe we should give it a pause before we start the show immediately upon that final gun, because it's like so much is swimming through your head. And I've heard it all. I hear you. And yes, I did watch every snap of this game. I was expecting to see a little bit more passion from the Eagles on offense.
Didn't it seem like they had no interest and no swagger at all?
I made that comment during the game. Later in the game, I wanted to wait. I thought that first screen pass that Jalix Hunt picked off was the defense's way of saying, hey, we're still in this. We're playing for you. And when they really couldn't get anything going after that, and Chicago, by the way, we've got to have a discussion at some point, no matter who you are, about the Chicago Bears, because they're coming along pretty nicely now. But going back to the Eagles, on offense, it just seems to me like the timing is off. I'm not necessarily 100% sold on it's unimaginative, because even Kirk Herbstreit, who I don't like, I can't stand the way he calls ball games. He sounds like a guy on Xanax, on too many Xanax, calling the ball game. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Like, blah, 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 first down, blah, blah. Oh my God. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that even he was saying, don't lay it all on the offensive coordinator. And they showed a couple examples where Hurts's pass was off, the timing was off. I mean, I think the offense is in a funk. I think it starts with the offensive line being hurt. And there's a lot more that goes into it besides just they're out there playing. I do think that there is a little bit of pushback from the players on the offensive coordinator and maybe not liking the calls. You can see that on the field.
Yeah, you can.
But would I go to this is a repeat of 2023 right now? No, not at all. I mean, look, AJ Brown still had 10 receptions for 132 yards and 2 scores. Hurts was 19 of 34 for 230 yards, 1 interception. They didn't really have a running game, and that's where they got hurt. They couldn't control that. And on the other side, the Bears really took advantage of the middle of that defense with double teams, and they ran the ball and kept it out of Jalen Hurts' hands. And they executed that very well. They do have a great offensive scheme. Caleb Williams can be inaccurate, yes, but when he needs to make the throw, he makes it. But they have a lot of pre-snap motion that enables you to, and I'm not seeing that as much on the Eagles side. So I think you have a point. I think there is an issue with the offensive play calling, but I'm not ready to say that they're going to lose the next 5 games, and I'm sure as hell not ready to say that they might not make the playoffs, because we all know Amazon Web Services and you know the stats. They're perfect, right? Analytics is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Even with this loss, according to analytics, they have a 95% chance of making the playoffs. So I'm going to save that for 2 or 3 more losses. But yeah, it was very uninspired football. Although I do know one player that's happy, and that's AJ Brown, because he ate today. He ate.
Yeah, he's probably thrilled. He had a
Yeah.
wonderful day for himself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He can now claim that he's one of the best receivers in the league again.
Yeah.
He just keeps padding his stats.
Yep.
It's
and I don't like seeing him on the sidelines while they're losing, just kind of sitting there staring, off into space.
Right.
Now Cub Stober 4901 on YouTube has just joined us. Thanks for being here, buddy. Hit that subscribe button and click the notifications, and you'll know when the Philly Porch is live, which is every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then going to start doing some post-game shows, right, Schwaber? Like this one.
That is correct. I wish that we had 2 100-yard rushers.
Yeah. The defense really, I think, look, we could talk all we want about the offense and how lethargic it was today, but the defense, they gave up 130 yards or more by halftime. So I'm going to put a lot of this on the defense. I'm going to put a lot of this on
which
them.
Almost doesn't even make any sense. I mean, part of the Eagles' strength is that you can't run the ball against them.
Yeah.
And somehow this team did.
Well, it goes back to those line injuries. That line is not stable right now.
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about the defense right now. I'm talking about the defense
my apologies.
Giving up the 200-yard rushers. I mean, look, I get it. I mean, I think the Bears are the number 1 rushing team in the league. But it's not like we can name 5 Pro Bowlers on the Chicago Bears offensive line. Maybe we will be soon. I don't know.
Yeah. But their line looked really good.
But yeah, I mean, but they're pushing people around and not getting any holding calls. So yeah, that's surprising. And to be honest, I thought the defense actually really kind of gave it all they could. I mean, they got gashed on the ground for sure.
Yep.
And they really got hurt on the Bears converting a lot of third downs and some fourth downs. But at the same time, I mean, like, look at the first half. I mean, the Eagles were absolutely dominated, and the defense had still kept it to a 7-point game.
Yeah, that was the one thing you could hang your hat on in the fact that they were in the game until basically it was hard. It was hard because it felt like they weren't in the game at all. But on the scoreboard, they were in the game until basically the last 7 minutes.
Right. Well, I mean, they could have taken over the game. That's what was disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, when AJ Brown scores, you miss the extra point. So if he doesn't miss the extra point, it's 10-10. And then on the next series, Jalen Hunt makes the interception. You have a short field. They drive all the way down to the 10, and then they fumble a tush push.
You're right.
And, you know what I mean? It's just like, but if you go in there, then you're up 17-10, and now it's like a totally different story.
This is kind of it's kind of like this game was almost played in a cloud, because I mean, if you were going to pick somebody who performed terribly, who would you pick? I mean, Hurts did throw an interception. He did have a fumble. Barkley only had 13 carries for 56 yards. And, and then of course, AJ Brown had a great game. And then you had the defense give it. I mean, who would you say, where was this wasn't a game where you could say, that the defense didn't perform well, therefore we lost the game, but we still scored, 28 points. But our defense, our offense was off. The defense was giving up the run. I mean, what's going on? And Sirianni on the sidelines looked completely defeated. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
how did they completely defeat you? Like,
Right.
what
Right.
exactly happened that you weren't prepared for this game? Because it seemed like the offense wasn't prepared at all.
It really did. And if you think about how, yes, that interception was a heck of a catch by Jalix Hunt.
Yeah.
No individual eagle had a terrible game, but
This was a
there
battle
was a
between
battle
two
between
division
two
leaders.
teams.
Right. Exactly. And
Yeah.
I look, Schwaber, if you watch the Philly Porch, if you watch any of our shows, Schwaber isn't sold on the Bears, and he's not sold on Caleb Williams. I think there's something there. I think they've got a good defense. They've got a good coordinator. They've got young offensive weapons. They've got the number 1 draft pick, who obviously was better than everybody thought, because he's learning. He's getting
Right.
better. So I think they need to be taken seriously. And I think they made a statement. I mean, you don't come out. Look, the Eagles haven't been playing great for a little while. That loss to
Oh yeah.
Dallas was really a punch in the face.
Right. And
But
the Lions and the Packers wins were both the offense didn't play well. It was like they won like 10-7,
right.
you
Right.
know?
So there's something missing there, and everybody's going to blame it on the coordinator or the head coach. But the players aren't executing this either. And I think the Eagles may have taken this Bears game a little lightly. They may have taken this as, they've won a few games, but they haven't really beat anybody big until they beat the Steelers last week, and the Steelers aren't even that great. And and that mindset seemed to be going into this game. And Ben
Mhm.
Johnson had dialed up quite a few different offensive schemes as far as running the ball goes, that made the Eagles' great defensive line not look so great, even though Jordan Davis pulled off a great play, even though Jalix Hunt pulled off a great play.
Right.
They
Yeah, I
still
mean,
played well, but the scheme, it confused them and it
yeah,
gashed them.
they showed a tweet on the TV from LaShawn McCoy, and it said
Mhm.
something like, "Man, Ben Johnson has the most incredible creativity with his
Yeah.
running schemes."
Yeah, it was a little
You
shorter
know?
than that, but yeah,
Something
it
like
was
that, but
basically
yeah,
him saying
yeah,
like, yeah, oh my God, the running scheme is
right.
incredible. So
And I
yeah,
and I I think that's part of what's going on. I mean, I think part of what's going on is the Eagles are absolutely getting out coached. I mean, I think they are. They're just getting out coached. Like here's the thing. I mean, think about this, right? So they did a tush push today and they fumbled it. They had the game against Green Bay where they went they only converted like 1 out of 5, right?
right.
I'm telling you right now, they can't convert the tush push right now because Dickerson and Jurgens are playing with injuries and they can't get off the ball the same.
You
That's
could
why
be
they
right
can't
about
do
that.
it
Yeah.
because they always go, right over Dickerson,
Mhm.
and Jurgens, goes low for the leverage, and they're not able to do it. So like at the same time, like I almost feel like even though that 3rd and 1 by sort of, like, logic sense is, "Hey, that's a tush push play for the Eagles." I don't know that we're really equipped to run that play right now, I mean, as the results are kind of showing.
Yeah.
And it is true, I mean, I have seen that happen once before where Hurts, fumbled a tush push because, look, there's a lot of hands in there, you know? Um
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more.
Right, yeah, so I think it's just, Hurts has really strong hands, but if they let it go and let it go and let it go to see how long he's gonna, maybe do a
Keep pushing.
second or a third push forward,
Yep.
well, sometimes it's gonna expose you to a fumble.
It's a hard play to officiate, and that's all come to light in the last few weeks with the offside stuff. And
Mhm.
but it always amazes me. And I know obviously when you're watching it on TV or streaming it, you get a lot. The angles are better, and you see and you can get them after the fact. But it always amazes me that the referees, with their own eyes, have to figure that out, and
Mhm.
how they can see that. And so, and I don't know. I mean, I've always been, when it comes to the tush push, I've always been under I'm kind of like Dan Campbell, like, look, if it's a legal play, then you got to figure out how to stop it.
Right.
But, to run it constantly all the time, I mean, maybe you're just overdoing it. And right now you're right with those two linemen, with Juergens and Dickerson. It's Dickerson that's out, or Lane Johnson's out, right? Or Lane Johnson's out. But with those two guys not playing 100%, yeah, you're not going to get as much of a push. Maybe you need to think of something else, like punting the way they used to do in the old days, or taking the field goal, take the points, take the points. Here you go. That fake tush push needs to be put into the game plan. The Bears fell for a fake last week. That was right. The Steelers, who never have imagination, actually thought that one up.
Well, remember, the Eagles did do that with Barkley earlier this year, and it worked for a touchdown.
Yep. Eagles game 12-8, 12-25, Monday 1. I'm not sure what that means, but thanks for being here.
December 8th.
Is that a I don't have the schedule in front of me. I just have the stats.
I don't think they're playing their next game on Monday, are they? Maybe they are. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah. The next game is that's the wrong thing. We will go to the schedule.
You should have that at your fingertips, Gran Schwabini.
I should, but
while he's looking that up, if you want to drop a comment on how you feel about this Eagles loss, let us know.
No, she's right.
Well,
she is right. Brianna Torres is correct. The next game is Monday night, December 8th, Eagles at Chargers. Woo! I'll tell you what.
I think she's saying they're going to win. And I don't know.
Yeah, she's calling a win.
Yeah, one.
And Brianna, I really wish that I could be as convinced as you. I had still put it, had been keeping it together. But this is the game that has certainly made me say this is going off course.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And Cub Stober says this is no gimme game. Absolutely not. Yeah.
No, the Chargers? No way.
Yeah, I mean, they can run the ball. We're playing at their place. It's a Monday night, so their crowd will be revved up.
They got to win.
I mean, they probably don't even care about football in LA because there's better things to do out there, like surf and parasail and crap like that.
Right.
But
hey, let's talk about this. 4 for 12 on third down, 1 for 2 in the red zone, 5 punts. It's something that they talked about during the broadcast a lot that I think maybe we need to take into account a little bit, and that's the wind. Some of those throws that Hurts was throwing, I know it's not making excuses.
They had the win too.
They did, but what I'm saying is some of the balls that came out of Hurts's hands, you could tell that within a couple rotations they were being influenced by the wind that was 15, 20 feet off the ground there. You could tell. And you could even tell that with some of Caleb Williams' throws, and both of them had pretty low passer ratings. I mean, Williams 57 basically was his passer rating.
Was that bad?
Yep. He was only 17 of 36 for 154.
He was 17 of 36.
Yeah. Yep. And Hurts was 19 of 34. Not much better. But his passer rating, because he had the 2 touchdowns and 230 yards.
He had a better passer rating.
He had a better passer rating, 84.
He certainly didn't have as good of a game.
Yeah. Yeah. And allow us to bring Rube in here.
Rube.
Because, yes, there we are. Now, see, this is what happens, Rube, when you try to tell the world that you've actually fired someone. when what you've really done is you've learned enough that you can fly on your own. And I've always been a fan of if you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. Well, now I know that you are mine. You come back to me.
That was some insane thing. I mean, I was just envisioning, somebody in a castle letting a dove fly, and I don't even know what the hell we're talking about anymore.
I can't hear Rube, though.
Rube,
Rube, your microphone is not on, and it wasn't on
Yeah.
the last podcast.
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
way.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
once you get that sorted out, then I'm
Speak
going
again.
to let you Eagles fans take care of this.
Speak again, sir.
Hello. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
We can
Yeah,
hear you, but it's like an echo.
Yeah, it's like your microphone on your laptop.
It's like you're talking through a funnel.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like a tube.
All right. You'd think that Dell would teach these guys how to use the equipment they give them. You know? I mean, don't you have some kind of training program you got to go through to figure out how to do this, Rube? This is what you guys do to me, you and Steve, when I'm trying to set up a show. Schwaber.
Chris, look,
Yeah.
you're just about a second away from getting fired again.
Fired again. I am not putting that on my resume. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. All right.
Well,
Well, yeah, that's a little better.
That's a little better.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
4 for 12 against those backup linebackers, that should be a concern. You know, they performed well against the Steelers last week. I think the Bears are better than people think they are. That's
They
all.
probably
Rube,
are.
are you with us now, Rube?
I think so. I hope.
There
perfect,
you go.
perfect.
That's exactly
Okay, so
what we're
Rube,
looking for.
let me bring you up to speed here.
Listen, guys, I'm going to bow out of this because I don't feel very wanted. But
no, and you know, you're bringing some negative energy.
All right, you guys. Hey, everybody, enjoy the show. Don't forget to let everybody know when you are, where you are, and what you're doing.
You got it. You got it. Okay, Ruby. Boy, I basically said I've kind of reached my limit. I feel like this is going south. I feel like this is 2023. I don't even know if I think the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. I think that Dallas is going to catch them and win the division, and we're not even going to make the playoffs. That's honestly how I feel. I swear to God. Now, bring me back to reality, or tell me you agree.
I see similar body language. I see similar excuses. We see a lot of similarities as we saw in 2023 with this team. And yes, I am nervous. I'm not ready to hand the division to Dallas quite yet. I think they're going to have a tough test against the Lions, even though the Lions haven't been playing their same type of ball this year. And then I think after next weekend, if the Cowboys had won again and we've lost again, who's our next game against? Who do we play next?
Monday night at the Chargers.
Yeah. So I think if we see similar, if we see similar results next week, I would agree. I think it's time to call this season not our best season, and we got to figure out how we're going to fix the offense. But you know, we sound like the definition of insanity. We've said that before. How many weeks in a row have we said the offense just doesn't look right? And every week we go out and do the same things. You know, I think the offense looked best when we were in like a 2-minute drill, to be honest with you. If we could play like that the whole game, that would be nice. But, you know, here we are, very, very demoralizing loss at home after a bad loss this past weekend. They're playing defense now. So, I don't know, man. It's
and
it was a tough one.
What about the defense just getting steamrolled in the running game of the Bears? I mean, what the heck happened there?
Yeah. You know, it's the difference every year the Eagles talk about, and we talk about the Eagles essentially having the best offensive line in football, which allows us to go dominate games, especially running the ball. And I think we've seen the offensive line not age well. The injuries are bad. Combine that with poor play calling. You know, here we are, and we watch on the other side the Bears have an outstanding play caller in you know, Ben Johnson. Is that his name? Is that the coach, the Bears' new coach?
By the way, you're breaking up a little bit here. Any idea what's going on?
Has that weird? Okay.
Well, one thing, as I'm not
Got
hearing
anybody?
you here, the one thing that I think doesn't bode well, I have to tell you, I really feel like it's one of those things where it certainly seems like the players are not having fun and they're not enjoying each other. You know what I mean? It seems like I really do believe this is like a whole AJ Brown thing. I think it's like AJ Brown has sort of turned the team against Jalen Hurts, so to speak. Do you think I'm going too far with that?
Um, I think you may be going a little too far with that. Can you hear me okay, by the way? Am I coming in
Now
okay?
I can hear you. Yeah, now I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're going a little too far with that. It's a lot can be cured with winning, and I don't think this is a Jalen Hurts problem. I think we've got a play calling problem. I think we've got an offensive line problem. And with that, and then obviously the noise coming from inside doesn't help any. So it's just a combination of a lot of negative things happening. On the flip side, you asked me earlier, what about the Bears steamrolling us? Yeah, their
Mhm.
offensive line looks great. They got two solid quarterback or running backs, and guess what? They have one of the best play callers now as their head coach, in the NFL. It means
Mhm.
something to have a solid, consistent play caller, and we're seeing it. So, but you're right. The body language looks terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks horrible, and to be honest, I mean, look, I mean, I know that all these guys who are watching on TV, like the commentators, like Richard Sherman said they need to get rid of Petula, right? There's a
Hmm.
lot of guys saying that, and I almost feel like this is a situation where, I mean, this is such a bad situation for Nick Sirianni. The last time he fired a coordinator at this point of the season, it actually got worse,
Yeah,
right?
Desai. Yeah, with Desai.
Right,
Yeah.
right, it actually got worse. He probably doesn't wanna do that again. The other thing too is, the first time when he picked, Desai and Brian Johnson, those were his picks, and now this was his pick for, OC because they've been together for, like, 4 years now, and boy, if he fires him mid, 3 quarters through the season, how bad does it make him look in terms of him picking, the talent at the coordinator position? So, and then of course, he's also probably dealing with, look, at this point, I don't think you can bring in or promote from within another offensive coordinator. I think you'd have to take it over yourself.
I
And
agree.
so does he, as he sees this spiraling out of control, does he wanna take all the blame if it continues to spiral? You know what I mean? So, I don't know, I think it's a really bad situation for him. One of the things that, TD said before he got off the call was he said that, the Eagles, Sirianni just looks defeated. And I don't know that he looks defeated about this particular game. I think he's defeated in terms of he doesn't have the answers again, just like in 2023. I think that's what it
Hmm.
is. He's like, I don't have the answers. What am I gonna do? Like, look, if we have trouble on defense, no big deal. Vic Fangio will figure something out, right?
Hmm.
If we have trouble on offense, what do we do? We don't have what I keep drawing a blank on his name. Who was the OC from last year? Who's the Saints head coach?
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, Kellen Moore. Like, we don't have
Hmm.
Kellen Moore anymore. We don't have Shane Steichen anymore, right? Those guys would, if we played poorly, would figure something out, right?
Correct.
And if you look at like the first 15, that are usually designed, I mean, we got nothing there. I mean, it's like run straight up the middle, run slightly to the left, run slightly to the right, uh, slant to AJ Brown, slant to Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard 5 yards over the middle. I mean, it's just like every single play you could probably predict based on our formation.
Yeah.
Whereas, you got the, you got Ben Johnson and the Bears, and it's like we had no idea what they're going to do. Like they're gonna run it outside, they're gonna run it inside, they're gonna do a jet sweep, they're gonna do an end around, they're gonna throw a deep ball, they're gonna throw a medium, distance ball. I mean, like we have no idea what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And it's just it's really frustrating. Now, Cub Stober here, he still feels like the Eagles will be able to get to 11 wins.
Let's look at
Now,
the should we look at the rest of the schedule and let's see if we
yeah,
agree.
let's look at the rest of the schedule here.
Let's pull it up here.
All right. So we have got, by the way, Flyers are in another overtime game. They play all
That's
games in
unbelievable.
overtime.
That means we will definitely win.
They should probably be, the Flyers should probably be the most what do you call it? When you're in shape. I'm looking for the words.
Most
Yeah,
physically fit.
yeah, there should be the most fit. Like they should never get tired. I mean, they played overtime every single game. All right, so I'm pulling up the Eagles.
All right, so
And
let's talk about it, right? I've got it in front of me. So we've
okay,
got at Chargers, right? Beginning of the season, we probably said, I don't know. I think we probably said when we should be able to win at the Chargers. We may have split on that, but based on how we're looking right now,
I'd say
at
it's a
Chargers on
loss.
Monday night, you'd say it's a loss.
Yep, I do.
Okay. All right. So let's say we agree that that's a loss.
Okay,
Then you've got
so
then
now
you've
we're
got
8-5.
then we're 8-5. Then Raiders at Eagles. We don't
I
win
think
that
that's
game at home against the
yeah,
Raiders. We might as well give up. So let's
right.
say that's
Don't
a
don't
win.
yeah, don't even watch the rest of the season if that
Don't even
happens.
watch the rest of the season. That's right.
All right,
All
so
right.
we're 9-5 now.
All right.
Then we go at Commanders.
Eagles at Commanders. Commanders haven't looked great. They'll probably get Daniels back. And let's say it's like every year we'll find a way to split with the Commanders. So let's
Right.
say we lose at Washington,
Mhm.
and then the last game of the season we win.
Okay.
So what does that make? That makes us 8-5, 9-5, 10-6, and then it comes down to Eagles at
At
Bills.
Bills, with the
Yeah.
Bills probably needing to win to make the playoffs.
That's right. So I think that's 10-8. I'm sorry. I think that's 10-7. I think that's 10-7.
I agree. I think you're right. I think that's going to be 10-7. I think the only way we get to 11 is if Jaden Daniels doesn't play the Commanders home game.
So at best we'll be limping into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys all of a sudden look like one of the better teams in football. Their offense is clicking. Their defense looks good. What are the chances of them catching us? So why don't we look at their schedule?
All right, I got to pull it up.
All right, talk to me.
So Cowboys at Lions. You would think that this would be a Lions win. But at the same time, if Dan Campbell wants to go for it on every single fourth down and not kick any field goals, I mean, this game, I feel this game is a toss up. Would you agree?
I would agree. So, but it's at Detroit, so
let's give it to Detroit.
We'll give it to Detroit. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, so they're now 6-6-1.
6-6-1 if they win over if the Lions win. Then it's Vikings at Cowboys. I think Cowboys.
7-6-1.
Okay.
Chargers at Cowboys.
8-6-1.
8-6-1. Cowboys at Commanders. 9-6-1.
9-6-1 probably. Cowboys at
Cowboys at
Giants,
Giants, 10-6-1.
10-6-1. Those are all very winnable games, with the exception of the Lions game.
And so we had the Eagles at 10-7. That means
10
the Cowboys win the division.
That means the Cowboys win the division.
And do we even know if 10-7 gets you into the playoffs?
Well,
I'll tell you right now. Here's
mhm.
your issues. Okay. Right now the wild card teams, Seattle's 8-3. Green Bay, at least you have the tiebreaker with them, is
Mhm.
8-3-1, and San Francisco is 8-4. And then you also have Detroit is 7-5. So it's going to be hard. I mean, I do think there is a legitimate chance that the Eagles do not make the playoffs. I mean, look, I'm sure it's a better chance that they make it, but I'll tell you what, I don't know. It doesn't feel good right now.
No, it's coming off of 2 bad losses, and before that, 2 what we would call, I won't call them lucky wins because our defense played out of their mind, but you don't score points, you don't win. When's the last time we had a commanding offensive game? I can't even remember. Maybe against the Giants, the
Hmm.
second game against the Giants, and, I mean, come on, if you're banking your season on, you know, whipping the Giants and skating by any other game, you're in big trouble. So I hope they figure out a way to get it together. Hope's not a strategy. Well, if you're Nick Sirianni, if you're Howie Roseman, what decision are you making this week? What are you doing differently this week than you did the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Because we can't continue to trot out the same game plan every time we go out on the field. So
You know,
what are you doing? You're GM or coach for the next week, Mark. Tell me.
um, I don't know. I mean, I think that you I mean, if it's me, what I'm doing is I am saying you don't fire Patullo. Just Sirianni takes over play calling. Look, you've been head coach for 4 years. You've watched a good Shane Steichen. You've watched a good Kellen Moore. It's your turn to call the plays. Go do it. That's probably what I say.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good call. Do you bring in a consultant like a Brian Dable or a Doug Peterson, perhaps?
That's those are interesting things. I mean, I've heard that brought up before. I think it would be very bizarre to bring in Doug Peterson, simply because he's a Super Bowl winning coach here,
Yeah.
and that sort of makes it almost seem like it almost sort of makes it seem like Sirianni's now coaching over his shoulder. You know, the Brian Dable thing is kind of interesting too, but um, I think the problem there is Brian Dable did so many bad things on his way out of New York. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, I don't want that guy anywhere near my football team.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
apparently he like threatened Kafka with his job, like in front of the whole team or something. you
Oh
know,
my gosh. Yeah,
yeah. So,
yeah, yeah.
so, so yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is there another consultant out there than those two guys?
I kind of think about, all right, this season will be this season, and hopefully we sneak into the playoffs and figure out a way to cure our ills. Um, and the players start taking accountability as well. Um, but I start to think about next year, right? Clearly, Patullo hasn't earned a second season.
Hmm.
And at some point, you've got to stop changing offensive coordinators every year.
Right.
So they're not going to fire what Sirianni, right?
Hmm.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
So who's the Vic Fangio of offense that we could bring over, that we could have and could have long-term success? I don't know what that looks like or who that might be. But I think that's what we need to start talking about. If Sirianni is going to be a CEO coach and he's going to be the rah-rah, and he's going to manage the team that way. And he's clearly, well, based on what we've seen historically, he's not a Shanahan. He's not, you know, a McVay type of offensive guru. So who do we go get? Something we ought to think about prior to our next show. What are the options for next year? And you're just going to have to ride out what you.
What about Sirianni's guy, Frank Reich? It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, right? He's tried the head coaching thing, hasn't worked out for him.
But wasn't even though Doug called the plays, was an OC on a Super Bowl winning team. Here's another one, and I'm also trying to think of people who aren't going to get a head coaching job and are maybe old and are maybe older.
Right.
What about the guy? What about the guy who used to coach for the Colts? The African American guy. You know what I'm talking about?
No, it's Colts former.
By the way, live update: Flyers do it again. Win in the shootout, and yes, Trevor Zegras started us off with a goal. And Konechny scored the last one to give us the win.
Yeah, they're more fun to talk about than.
I know. Yeah. I'm sure I could pull it up here. Was he the head? I think he was a head coach of the Saints for a little bit. I mean, of the Colts for a little bit. I will remember his name in a minute. List of Indianapolis head coaches. Couldn't just put the coaches down there. Let's see. It's making me go the other way. Okay, let's see. Jim Caldwell. Do you remember him? I think you froze again. Jim Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell. Okay.
Jim Caldwell. I mean, from what I understand, like he's been in the conversation before. That he's like really good OC.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Hey, can you hear me okay, Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Until we get Rue back, just a little reminder. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You can catch us on X at
Hey, if
Philly
you're a
Porch.
fan out there, can you hear us okay?
Well, I can hear you.
Keep losing the Grand Schwabini.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
I mean, that's what happens when you're working on game day. You know, all the good guys are at home with their families. We got the backup crew here. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Or the other option based off of what you said is if Sirianni could take it over himself and perform well to finish the year, then maybe you just make him the offensive coordinator, or and head coach / offensive coordinator, and then you don't have to worry every year about who's the guy. How about this? Here's a couple other names. What about Bieniemy? What about Bieniemy, who was with
whatever happened to him?
I think he was the I think he was the OC of the Commanders, and with the coach before Dan Quinn,
with Rivera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, with Rivera, and I don't even know if he's with somebody now. Or here's another throwback idea. What about Deuce Staley? Deuce Staley knows a thing or two about running the football, and I think he'd be aggressive,
Yeah,
but he
but
has
has
no
he I
experience.
mean, has he ever? He has no experience. That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. Everyone I'm trying to see where Bieniemy's at these
Eric
days.
Bieniemy
He's running back coach with the Bears.
with who?
The Bears.
Oh, well, yeah, he's doing a good job.
True that.
It's turning DeAndre
Yeah,
Swift into Saquon Barkley.
yeah, it's I don't know what you do with this team. I hope for the best. Um, these guys get paid a lot of money to figure it out. At the end of the day, um, you're gonna have to do something different. So I think with all other things being equal, Sirianni's gonna start calling plays. Period. Hard stop.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got a choice.
Yeah,
And
and
if he
I
wants
think
to bring in a consultant, let him bring in a
yeah,
consultant. But I don't think that
yeah,
changes. I don't think that fixes everything.
yeah, and I think if you're Howie Roseman, you gotta tell him that's what he's doing, don't you think? You
I
can't
think
just
so.
you can't just make it his decision because he's probably not gonna wanna do that to his buddy.
Yeah, but that's a problem with all his staff being from Indianapolis guys. He's got
Right,
to start. He's got to start going outside the Indianapolis circle,
right.
and they got to start figuring things out. And I like the idea of a Frank Reich
Mhm,
calling plays, and maybe someone who will stick around for a while. Like
mhm.
again, the Vic Fangio of the offense needs to be someone who's. We need some consistency,
Right.
and I think we're losing that consistency. And I think in next year's draft we got to go back to the offensive line again
We
because
do.
clearly the depth is not good. The Steen guy, if he gets one more penalty on a first down,
Right.
I'm gonna lose my mind. So
You wanna
I
you
don't think
wanna he you wanna hear something crazy too? Do you know who guess who leads the Eagles, offense in penalties this year?
uh, Landon Dickerson,
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown,
He's
really.
got yep, he's got 6, and 4 of them have been offsides.
How could a wide receiver be
Right. He was
illegal motion or whatever it is?
yeah, he was offsides on the 2nd play today, you know? I mean, ridiculous.
Is it time to let him walk?
Oh, after the season, absolutely. I mean, I think he's the bad apple. I mean, I know, you hear all these different stories, right? You hear these stories about like, the players love him. The players say he's great and people don't really get it. He really wants to win and blah blah blah. He's the only guy who's spouting his mouth off after every single game. I think it just brings a negativity. Everybody has to talk about what AJ Brown said every week instead of trying to do their job, you know? And I think it just, get him out. I mean, look, one thing I can tell you is I have no doubt that we can fill his spot, not with somebody as good. Okay. You're not going to just go out and find another AJ Brown, but I definitely feel like you can find somebody of like a Jeremy Maclin level out there, you know, whether it's a first round pick, or whether it's a trade or, a free agent signing. You can find somebody at that level. And to be honest, I think Devontae Smith, um, even though he seems like he should be an injury risk all the time because he's always wobbling off, I feel like he plays like a number one wide receiver. And I think that if AJ wasn't on the team, I would be willing to bet that he'd be over 1,300 yards every year, with 10 touchdowns. So I think if you had somebody decent at that wide receiver 2 spot with Devontae being a number one, I think you'd be fine, honestly.
Hmm.
And maybe it's like some addition by subtraction. You don't have to deal with all the crap.
Yeah,
You know,
you would hope. Although I would disagree. I wouldn't use a first round pick on a receiver. I think.
although
Mhm.
although um, prior to the season, the New England Patriots, because of Vrabel loves him from his time in Tennessee, they offered the Eagles a first round pick this year for AJ Brown, and we said no. I bet you look, the Patriots have turned into a really good team. They're
Mhm.
probably, based on lack of experience, not going to win the Super Bowl. Okay. So
Mhm.
they're gonna kind of finish this season thinking we're really close. We need something to put us over the edge. We could get a first round pick for AJ Brown from them. Now it might be 23 or 28 or something. But you know what? If you now have two first round picks, you take one for the offensive lineman, you take one for a receiver. That's a thought.
Yeah, yeah. I think it is. I think he's officially worn out his welcome as far as I'm concerned. I mean, listen, he's he didn't have a bad game today. He played good ball. Um,
He had a great game today. He had 10
so
catches for like 130 yards and two touchdowns. But you know what? The funny thing is, you ever notice this? It seems like the better AJ Brown plays, the
the
more
worse we do.
the more we lose, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
You know. And one other thing I gotta say about the Eagles with their, offense is, I'm sorry, but you can't wait until the second half for, Jalen Hurts to run the ball, you know? Like, I understand you wanna keep him healthy, but you're basically taking away one of your biggest assets on offense if you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see, like, once he started running the ball, like, all of a sudden they can't bring all the safeties up to stop Saquon. And they're on their heels, right? I mean, and look, here's the thing. You know, Even though Jalen usually seems to miss like a game or two a year, really he's pretty darn durable. You know, he's pretty
Mhm.
tough. He plays through injuries every year. I mean, if there's 17 games in a season, he plays 14 or 15 pretty easily. So, you know
Mhm.
what? Just let him run the ball. I mean, look, we won a Super Bowl with him. Let's try to win a few more, and let's just pound the rock, man. You know what I mean? It's going to help Saquon. It's going to help the offense as a whole. Um, and I actually think he ends up throwing the ball better when he's
Because he's in the rhythm of the game.
right. He's
Yeah.
in the rhythm of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
Well,
I don't think they're listening to us, Grand Schwabini,
they're
but
not.
listen, disappointing today. I would say not unexpected based on a 5-day turnaround after a
Hmm.
pretty demoralizing loss. So now we get what? We get 9 days or
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah.
9 days, 10 days, whatever it is, to
Mhm.
get it together. And we are going to play a good team on the road. And
Mhm.
maybe this is the game that turns it around and brings us all back together. Get away from the link, get to the West Coast, um, and start maybe playing a little bit looser. And but I do believe Sirianni is going to have to take over the play calling because if they continue to do what they're doing, it's insanity and it's hard to watch, and they're not going to be successful.
Right. I agree. All right. Well, let's end on that, Rube. I don't think I can take it much more talking about this game and this team, but let's just, let's just hang in there. Hang in there, Eagles fans. And look, it's not over till it's over. I know I said earlier I kind of feel like it's over. But you never know. The one good thing about the NFL is if you make the playoffs, all you have to do is, and if you make it in the right seeding, all you have to do is be hot for 3 games. That's it.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate it, and we'll see everybody again. What, Tuesday night at our regular time?
Tuesday night at a regular time. All right, we're out. Nope, I'm not doing any. Fly Eagles fly tonight. They don't
They got
deserve
to
it.
earn it. They got to
They
earn
got
it.
to earn it. That's right. All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Later, everybody. It's making me play it. So here you go,
Oh, it
Eagles.
is.